7 habits that make older women smell unpleasant, and how to fix them before it's too late. Aging brings many wonderful things: life experience, calmness, wisdom, and sometimes rare moments of freedom we couldn't enjoy when we were younger. But along with those gifts come silent changes in the body, changes that often go unnoticed until they quietly turn into awkward, difficult-to-discuss problems. One of the most delicate yet common struggles many women over 60 quietly face is persistent odor, particularly a urine-like smell that lingers even when personal hygiene routines are followed carefully every day. You may shower regularly, change clothes often, use perfume and deodorants, yet still notice a light but unpleasant scent that sticks to your body, your clothing, your furniture, or even your bed sheets. And often the most uncomfortable truth is that others might notice it before you do. This is far from rare. According to many geriatric doctors, the causes behind this problem often come from simple daily habits you've likely repeated for years without realizing they've been silently contributing to the issue. For example, small leaks of urine when laughing, coughing, or standing up too quickly, something almost every older woman has experienced, can leave traces of moisture on underwear, pants, bedding, or even on the sofa. This tiny amount of moisture, combined with body heat, creates a perfect environment for bacteria to grow, and it's the bacteria that produce those lingering odors. Even more concerning is that as we age, our sense of smell naturally weakens. As a result, we may not notice these changes, while people around us easily do. Nobody wants to become the grandmother with a smell at family gatherings or when cuddling the grandkids. Beyond leakage, many seemingly harmless hygiene habits may actually worsen the problem. Choosing heavily scented body washes, not changing liners frequently enough, wearing synthetic, poorly breathable underwear, drinking too little water to avoid bathroom trips. All of these habits can quietly affect your comfort, your confidence, and your sense of freshness. In particular, a sedentary lifestyle, spending hours watching TV, reading, or doing puzzles in warm pajamas, creates a warm, moist environment in intimate areas, which allows bacteria and odor to thrive. Even your laundry routine plays a bigger role than you might think. Washing clothes with cold water, using mild detergents, or re-wearing unwashed clothing can allow bacteria to remain in the fabric and release odor throughout the day. In today's video, we'll take a close look at 7 common mistakes many older women make that cause persistent urine-like odor, even when you think you were being perfectly clean. More importantly, I'll share extremely simple but highly effective solutions recommended by doctors to help you regain confidence, stay dry, fresh, and feel clean every single day. Because a woman's confidence and dignity should never be compromised by small mistakes in self-care. And best of all, these solutions are far easier than you may think. With just a few minor adjustments, you'll feel a clear difference every single day. Let's begin this journey together, starting with small but meaningful changes. And I truly believe that after watching this, you'll wish you had known these tips much sooner. Habit 1. Ignoring light bladder leakage. Let us start with one of the most common and most quietly destructive unhabits that many older women face: ignoring light bladder leakage. For many women over 60, light bladder leaks have become an awkward companion. It's not a full-blown accident that sends you rushing to the bathroom. It's those tiny, almost invisible leaks that happen when you laugh too hard, sneeze, stand up too quickly, or bend over to pick something up. At first, they feel harmless, something you can brush off as just one of those things. After all, it's just a few drops, right? No big deal. You wipe, you change if necessary, and you move on with your day. But here's where the silent problem begins. Those small leaks often leave behind microscopic traces of urine that soak into your underwear, pants, or even your furniture if you sit down too soon afterward. The moisture may dry up quickly to the touch, making you believe everything is fine. But even after drying, the salts, proteins, and organic waste in urine remain embedded in the fabric fibers. Over time, these residues create a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and bacteria are what produce that unpleasant, lingering odor. What makes matters worse is that as we age, our sense of smell declines. What you may not detect as a problem might be quite noticeable to others. family members, friends, or even strangers. This often leads to moments of silent embarrassment that you don't even realize are happening. The result is a slow erosion of confidence. You may start avoiding close hugs, leaning in for conversations, or feeling hesitant to sit close to others. Unfortunately, many women assume that as long as they're showering daily, they're addressing the issue. But regular hygiene isn't enough if the bacteria are hiding in your clothes and furniture. And repeatedly re-wearing the same pants or pajamas without thorough washing only allows the odor problem to accumulate over time. The good news is that this habit can be corrected easily once you become aware of it. First, it is crucial to recognize that light bladder leakage is incredibly common and nothing to feel ashamed about. Studies estimate that more than 50% of women over 60 experience some form of stress or urge incontinence. You are far from alone. Second, consider adopting moisture-wicking, odor-resistant underwear specifically designed for light bladder leakage. These garments use advanced fabrics that pull moisture away from your skin while neutralizing odors before they can form. They are discreet, comfortable, and virtually invisible under your clothes. In addition, thin incontinence liners can be a game changer. Unlike menstrual pads, which are not designed to manage urine, these liners are highly absorbent, breathable, and designed to lock in moisture and odor effectively. But remember, liners must be changed regularly, ideally every few hours, to prevent bacterial growth. Finally, don't hesitate to address the root issue with your doctor. In many cases, pelvic floor exercises, like Kegels, bladder training, or minor medical interventions, can dramatically improve bladder control, reducing leaks over time. Ignoring light bladder leaks might feel like no big deal today, but left unaddressed, it can quietly chip away at your confidence and comfort. With simple proactive changes, you can regain control, eliminate odors, and restore the fresh, dignified presence you deserve. Habit 2. Using the wrong soaps. The second silent habit that contributes heavily to unwanted odors in older women is the continued use of harsh, heavily perfumed soaps and body washes. For years, many of us were taught to associate strong fragrances with cleanliness. A vibrant floral or ocean breeze scent meant we were clean, fresh, and ready to face the world. Rows of colorful body washes filled supermarket shelves, promising ultimate freshness in a bottle. Like so many women, I bought into this idea for decades, believing that the stronger the scent, the cleaner I was. But as I entered my 60s, something began to change. Our skin evolves dramatically as we age. It becomes thinner, drier, and far more sensitive, particularly in intimate areas. The harsh, heavily perfumed soaps I once loved were now stripping away my skin's natural oils, disrupting its delicate balance and leaving me vulnerable to irritation and bacterial overgrowth. Without realizing it, I was doing the very opposite of what I intended. My aggressive hygiene routine was actually creating the perfect conditions for odor. The skin in intimate areas has its own natural pH, typically slightly acidic, which helps maintain a healthy environment and keeps harmful bacteria at bay. Many commercial soaps, loaded with synthetic fragrances, alcohols, and sulfates, disrupt this balance. When the skin becomes too dry or irritated, its ability to fight bacteria weakens. The result? That persistent musty or sour odor that seems to return no matter how often you wash. I distinctly remember my frustration after a thorough morning shower. By afternoon, I could already sense an unpleasant smell resurfacing. I blamed everything from my hormones to my laundry detergent, but never suspected my beloved soaps. It wasn't until a frank conversation with my gynecologist that the real cause became clear. She explained that as women age, less truly is more when it comes to intimate hygiene. Instead of perfumed soaps, my doctor recommended switching to a fragrance-free, hypoallergenic cleanser designed specifically for sensitive skin, or even just using warm water. At first, this sounded absurd. Water alone? After a lifetime of being told I needed powerful soaps, I was skeptical. But I trusted her expertise and gave it a try. Within days, I noticed a dramatic difference. The irritation subsided, my skin felt calmer, and best of all, that stubborn odor vanished. The problem wasn't that I wasn't washing enough. It was that I was washing too aggressively with the wrong products. Since making the switch, I've adopted a much gentler routine: warm water for daily cleansing and mild pH-balanced products only when necessary. My skin feels healthier, and I no longer feel the need to constantly reapply perfume or body sprays to mask unpleasant smells. Many older women make the well-intentioned mistake of believing that stronger scents equal better hygiene. In reality, harsh products can strip your skin's protective barrier, inviting the very bacteria and odors you're trying to avoid. This vicious cycle can quietly undermine your confidence, making you feel self-conscious even after you've bathed. The takeaway here is simple: gentleness is key. Harsh soaps and heavily fragranced body washes are not your allies, especially after 60. Instead, treat your skin like the delicate organ it is. A calm, balanced skin environment allows your natural defenses to work properly, keeping you feeling fresh throughout the day, without the need for overpowering scents that often do more harm than good. Habit 3. Forgetting to change liners and pads regularly. The third habit that quietly contributes to lingering body odor, especially the subtle scent of urine that can be difficult to mask, is the failure to change liners or pads frequently enough during the day. For many women over 60, the use of liners or incontinence pads has become a normal part of daily hygiene. Whether it's light bladder leakage, postmenopausal changes, or simply an added layer of security when going out, these products offer comfort and confidence. However, what many of us overlook is how often they need to be changed to truly maintain freshness and prevent odor buildup. In my own experience, I used to put a liner in my underwear each morning and go about my day, forgetting about it entirely unless something felt obviously wet. My logic was simple: if it wasn't soaked, it must still be doing its job. Why waste a perfectly good liner when it felt dry? Besides, those boxes of liners weren't exactly cheap, so it felt practical to stretch their use as long as possible. What I didn't realize at the time is that even when a liner feels dry to the touch, it's still absorbing trace amounts of moisture from the body throughout the day. This subtle dampness, combined with body heat and friction, creates a perfect warm, moist environment for bacteria to thrive. And bacteria is what generates that sour, slightly musty odor that lingers despite showering or applying deodorant. I started to notice that by late afternoon or early evening, a faint smell would sometimes emerge, one I couldn't quite pinpoint, but which made me feel self-conscious. I worried every time I leaned in to hug a loved one or sat close to others. Was the odor noticeable to them? The thought alone was enough to chip away at my confidence. When I finally raised this concern during a routine visit with my doctor, she gently but firmly explained that liners and pads are not designed to be worn for long periods without being changed. Even small amounts of moisture trapped inside create bacterial growth within hours. For optimal hygiene, these items should ideally be changed every 3 to 4 hours, even if they don't feel wet. This was a light bulb moment for me. It wasn't about being wasteful or overly cautious. It was about respecting my body and preventing odor before it started. I made the shift immediately. I started carrying a small zippered pouch in my purse with a few spare liners, allowing me to change discreetly throughout the day no matter where I was, at work, shopping, or visiting friends. The difference was immediate and remarkable. That sour odor I used to battle at the end of the day vanished. I felt fresher, cleaner, and, most importantly, confident again. I no longer worried about hugging my grandchildren or leaning in close for conversations. Something as simple as changing a liner more often had restored a sense of dignity I didn't even realize I had lost. For women concerned about waste or cost, there are modern eco-friendly alternatives as well. Reusable, washable liners made from breathable, moisture-wicking fabrics. These offer both hygiene and sustainability while saving money over time. The takeaway is clear. It's not enough to simply wear liners or pads. It's how you use them that matters most. By changing them regularly, you prevent bacteria from building up, avoid unpleasant odors, and protect both your hygiene and your peace of mind. In the end, it's one of the simplest habits you can adopt to feel fresh, clean, and confident every single day. Habit 4. Wearing synthetic underwear. The fourth habit that many older women unknowingly fall into, and one that silently contributes to persistent body odor, is the daily use of synthetic underwear made from fabrics like nylon, polyester, spandex, or blends of these materials. For years I was guilty of this myself. My underwear drawer was filled with soft, stretchy synthetic panties that I had purchased at department stores. They came in pretty colors, felt smooth against my skin, and were easy to wash. Compared to the plain cotton underwear I used to wear in my youth, these synthetic options seemed far more modern, stylish, and convenient. But as I grew older, I began noticing a frustrating pattern. No matter how carefully I showered each day, or how fresh my clothes were in the morning, by afternoon or early evening, I would start to feel damp, uncomfortable, and self-conscious about a faint, musty odor that seemed to follow me. Even my clean laundry started to develop a subtle smell after wearing these garments for just a few hours. At first, I blamed everything else. My laundry detergent, my skin, my diet, even my house's air circulation. The idea that my comfortable, pretty underwear could be the source of the problem never even crossed my mind. It wasn't until I finally opened up to my doctor about this issue that I learned the truth. Synthetic fabrics are notorious for trapping moisture and heat against the skin. Unlike natural fibers, synthetic materials don't allow your body to breathe. The trapped moisture creates a humid, warm environment in your most delicate areas, exactly the kind of conditions that encourage bacteria to multiply rapidly. And as we've discussed, bacteria equals odor. This issue becomes even more problematic as we age. After menopause, our skin becomes thinner and drier, and our body's ability to regulate moisture and temperature changes. Light bladder leakage, reduced estrogen levels, and general sensitivity in intimate areas further complicate the situation. If the skin is constantly exposed to dampness and trapped heat, irritation can develop, leading not only to odor but also to discomfort, chafing, and even infections. When my doctor firmly suggested that I switch entirely to 100% cotton underwear, I initially resisted. Cotton, the plain, boring kind. I couldn't imagine trading in my attractive, fashionable options for something I associated with my grandmother's generation. But I reluctantly agreed to give it a try, promising myself it would only be a short experiment. To my surprise, the change was immediate and undeniable. Cotton underwear allowed my skin to breathe naturally. It absorbed minor moisture throughout the day and allowed airflow to keep my intimate areas cool and dry. That uncomfortable damp feeling I used to experience was gone, and more importantly, so was the musty odor that had become such a persistent source of anxiety. Even better, I discovered that cotton underwear didn't have to be frumpy or unattractive. Many modern brands now offer cotton designs that are comfortable, flattering, and stylish. I found options that fit beautifully, offered gentle support, and made me feel just as feminine as my old synthetic ones, without sacrificing my comfort or hygiene. The science behind this is simple. Cotton, as a natural fiber, wicks away moisture from the skin, prevents bacterial buildup, and allows air to circulate freely. This not only reduces odor, but also helps maintain overall vaginal health. On the other hand, synthetic fabrics create a sealed environment where even the tiniest bit of leakage, sweat, or natural discharge can fester and turn into unpleasant smells within just a few hours. Looking back, I wish I had made the switch to cotton much sooner. It's a small adjustment with a massive payoff, one that every woman over 60 should seriously consider. The comfort, confidence, and freshness you feel each day is absolutely worth it. If you're still clinging to synthetic underwear because it seems convenient, affordable, or fashionable, I encourage you to rethink it. Invest in high-quality, 100% cotton underwear designed for mature women. Your skin will breathe easier, odors will stay at bay, and you'll reclaim a sense of freshness and dignity that synthetic fabrics simply cannot offer. Habit 5. Not drinking enough water. The fifth habit that silently contributes to unpleasant odor, especially among older women, is one that many believe is actually helping them: not drinking enough water. For years, I too fell into this trap. I thought I was being smart by limiting my water intake to avoid frequent trips to the bathroom. Like many women over 60, I was dealing with occasional bladder sensitivity, and cutting back on fluids seemed like a logical way to prevent accidents or embarrassing situations in public. Less water in, fewer bathroom breaks. It felt like a simple solution. But what I didn't realize was that this seemingly clever habit was doing far more harm than good, not only to my general health, but also to my hygiene and confidence. When you deprive your body of sufficient hydration, your urine becomes highly concentrated. Instead of being a light, almost clear liquid, it turns dark yellow or amber in color and develops a strong, sharp odor. This pungent smell doesn't stay contained to the bathroom. Even the smallest bladder leak, a slight dribble from a sneeze, laugh, or sudden movement, carries this concentrated urine with its distinct odor onto your undergarments, clothing, and even furniture. Over time, the smell lingers, becoming increasingly difficult to mask or eliminate. At first, I thought these odors were simply part of aging. I resigned myself to believing that as you grow older, your body naturally develops these changes. But deep down, I felt self-conscious. I would find myself discreetly sniffing my clothes, checking for any trace of odor before social events, worried that others might notice before I did. The real breakthrough came when I decided, almost out of frustration, to reverse my old habit. I started drinking more water throughout the day. Not gallons, but small, consistent amounts. A glass in the morning, one after lunch, another before dinner. I carried a small water bottle with me at all times to encourage regular sipping. The change was remarkable. Within days, my urine became lighter in color, almost clear, and the strong, offensive odor that had haunted me began to fade. My body felt fresher, lighter, and more balanced overall. Surprisingly, my skin even looked more hydrated, and I had fewer headaches. I hadn't realized just how dehydrated I had been for so long. From a medical perspective, this all made perfect sense. Drinking enough water allows your kidneys to function properly, flushing out toxins and waste efficiently. The more water you drink, the more diluted your urine becomes, minimizing odor and reducing the concentration of waste products that contribute to unpleasant smells. Furthermore, staying well hydrated supports your entire urinary system, helping to prevent infections, kidney stones, and bladder issues. It also supports healthy digestion, energy levels, skin appearance, and even mental clarity, benefits that become increasingly important as we age. The fear of bladder leaks or frequent urination often drives women to restrict water intake, but the long-term consequences are far worse. Dehydration makes your urine more potent, makes your skin dry and fragile, slows your metabolism, and ultimately makes you feel much older than your years. Of course, I still needed to manage my bladder sensitivity carefully. I began practicing pelvic floor exercises, also known as Kegels, to strengthen my muscles and improve bladder control. I also planned regular bathroom breaks throughout the day, so I wouldn't feel nervous about urgent trips, but I never went back to restricting my water intake again. What's most empowering is realizing that hydration is one of the easiest, most affordable self-care routines we can adopt. It doesn't require expensive supplements, complicated regimens, or fancy equipment. All it takes is a simple glass of clean water, a small gesture with enormous benefits. Now I carry my water bottle proudly wherever I go. Instead of worrying about how often I'll need to find a restroom, I focus on how much better I feel. Fresher breath, lighter urine, healthier skin, and most importantly, the confidence that comes from knowing I smell clean and feel vibrant every day. If you're still limiting your water intake out of fear, I urge you to rethink this habit. Don't let dehydration rob you of your comfort, dignity, and quality of life. Staying hydrated is one of the simplest, most powerful steps you can take toward not only eliminating odor but also reclaiming your vitality at any age. Habit 6. Sitting too long without washing up. The sixth habit, silently contributing to unpleasant odors, particularly among older women, is surprisingly simple: spending long hours sitting without refreshing or washing up. After retirement, many of us naturally slow down. Our days shift from being filled with work, errands, and appointments to quieter moments spent reading books, watching TV, knitting, scrolling through our phones, or solving crossword puzzles. For some, entire mornings or afternoons may pass by while lounging in a cozy nightgown or comfortable loungewear without much movement. At first glance, it seems harmless, even well-earned after decades of busy schedules. But this prolonged sedentary lifestyle creates an environment that fosters hidden hygiene issues we don't always recognize until they become embarrassing. When we sit for extended periods, especially in soft, warm fabrics like fleece, synthetic blends, or padded furniture, we inadvertently create a warm, moist microclimate around our intimate areas. This pocket of trapped heat and humidity becomes a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, yeast, and odor-causing microbes. Sweat, skin oils, and even minor urine leaks from light bladder leakage accumulate in these areas throughout the day. Unlike when we're active and moving, prolonged sitting reduces air circulation and allows moisture to build up undisturbed, encouraging bacterial growth. This leads to the development of musty, sour, or even ammonia-like odors that no amount of perfume, body spray, or air freshener can fully mask. What makes this problem even trickier is how gradually it develops. You don't wake up one day and smell different. The odor creeps in slowly over weeks or months, often going unnoticed by ourselves due to diminished sensitivity to smells as we age. Sadly, others, especially younger family members, may notice it before we do. I vividly remember my personal wake-up call. One afternoon, as my granddaughter climbed into my lap for her usual cuddles, she wrinkled her nose and innocently said, "Grandma, you smell like something wet." Her words pierced me like a knife, not because she meant harm, but because she was right. I had allowed my comfortable sedentary routine to quietly erode my hygiene and dignity without even realizing it. That painful but honest moment became my turning point. I realized that hygiene isn't just about daily showers, it's also about maintaining freshness throughout the day, especially when we spend hours sitting still. Since then, I've developed a few simple doctor-recommended habits that have made an enormous difference in how fresh and confident I feel. Take regular movement breaks. Every 60-90 minutes, I get up, walk around, refill my water glass, stretch, or do light chores. Movement not only improves circulation but also allows airflow to reach areas that stay trapped when sitting. Implement a midday refresh routine. Halfway through my day, I do a quick gentle wipe using warm water and a soft cloth to freshen intimate areas. It takes less than 2 minutes but makes a world of difference. Change into fresh clothing daily. Even if I stay home, I change out of pajamas or lounge pants by noon. Fresh, breathable clothing helps prevent moisture buildup. Prioritize breathable fabrics. I've transitioned to 100% cotton loungewear and underwear, which allow my skin to breathe and reduce heat and moisture buildup. Keep furniture fresh. I wash cushion covers and throw blankets regularly, and I avoid sitting in one chair for hours at a time without breaks. By adopting these small changes, I've restored my confidence and sense of dignity. I no longer worry about odors or avoid close hugs with my grandchildren, out of fear that they might notice something I done tea. It's important to understand that staying fresh isn't a tea about chasing youth or vanity. It is about self-respect, comfort, and feeling good in your own skin. As we age, hygiene requires a bit more mindfulness and daily attention, but the payoff is immense. You deserve to feel comfortable and confident every single day. Don't let a sedentary routine slowly undermine your hygiene and your confidence. A few simple adjustments in your daily habits can help you stay fresh, clean, and dignified, not just for others, but most importantly, for yourself. Habit 7. Neglecting laundry routine. The 7th habit, often overlooked yet crucial, is neglecting proper laundry care, especially for intimate and frequently worn clothing. For many women over 60, comfort becomes the primary focus when choosing clothes. Soft lounge pants, cozy nightgowns, stretchable house dresses, and intimate undergarments often get repeated wears because, quite simply, they appear clean. No visible stains, no strong smells, so why wash them after just 1 or 2 wears, especially when staying home all day? This mindset seems harmless, even practical, especially when energy levels wane or laundry feels like an exhausting chore. But here lies the silent problem. As we age, our bodies undergo subtle changes: increased sensitivity, minor urine leaks, sweat gland shifts, hormonal fluctuations, and reduced vaginal moisture. Even when barely noticeable, these bodily fluids, combined with natural skin oils and warmth, are being absorbed into fabrics with every hour of wear. Tight-fitting or synthetic materials like polyester, nylon, or spandex are especially guilty of trapping these substances deep into their fibers, creating invisible breeding grounds for bacteria. Unlike outerwear, Intimate clothing clings directly to your most sensitive areas. Even short-term buildup of sweat and bacteria can rapidly lead to unpleasant odors that seem to stick, despite daily showers or liberal use of perfume and deodorant. You may catch faint hints of a musty, sour, or ammonia-like scent by late afternoon and wonder, is that me or my clothes? More often than not, it's both. The issue becomes worse if these garments aren't thoroughly washed after every wear. Standard laundry cycles using cold water, gentle detergents, or quick wash settings may not completely kill bacteria embedded deep within fabrics. Over time, even seemingly clean clothes begin harboring persistent odors. The next time you put them on, those trapped smells reactivate with your body heat and moisture, undermining the fresh, clean feeling you expect after showering. I learned this lesson painfully. After multiple moments of self-consciousness during family gatherings and public outings, I realized my hygiene issue wasn't rooted in my body. It was in my laundry routine. With the guidance of my physician and some research into proper fabric care, I completely transformed my approach. Dedicated hot water washes. I wash all undergarments, nightwear, and loungewear separately from other clothing, using the hottest water temperature safe for the fabric. Heat helps eliminate bacteria that cold cycles often leave behind. Add white vinegar or baking soda. A half cup of distilled white vinegar or baking soda added to the wash cycle naturally neutralizes odors, breaks down body oils, and disinfects fabrics without harsh chemicals. Use fragrance-free detergents. I avoid heavily perfumed laundry soaps, which may mask but not solve odor issues. Fragrance-free formulas help preserve fabric breathability and prevent irritation to sensitive skin. Thorough drying. Damp clothes promote bacterial growth. I ensure every item is fully dried, either by using high heat, when safe, or air drying in a well-ventilated space. No re-wearing between washes. Even if an item looks spotless, I never wear loungewear or underwear twice before washing. Fabric can harbor invisible bacteria, especially after hours of skin contact. Periodic deep cleans. Every few months, I soak my intimate garments in a gentle disinfectant solution designed for delicates, further ensuring freshness and cleanliness. Since adopting these practices, the transformation has been remarkable. I no longer struggle with lingering body odors, despite maintaining the same daily routines. My clothing feels fresher, cleaner, and I feel fully confident, whether at home, running errands, or enjoying precious moments with family. What surprised me most was how profoundly laundry habits affect personal hygiene. Many women mistakenly believe that showering alone solves everything, but clean skin placed into unwashed clothes simply reintroduces the very bacteria we try to eliminate. Proper laundry care is not vanity, it's dignity, it's self-care at the most fundamental level. Clean, breathable clothing directly influences how fresh you feel throughout the day and how confidently you engage with the world around you. As we embrace our golden years, every small decision in caring for our bodies matters more than ever. Maintaining an intentional, thorough laundry routine isn't complicated, but the peace of mind it provides is priceless. As we gracefully journey through our golden years, it becomes clearer than ever that staying fresh, confident, and dignified isn't simply about showering daily or spritzing on a bit of perfume. True personal hygiene, the kind that preserves not only physical cleanliness, but also emotional self-assurance, lies in the often overlooked details of how we care for ourselves every single day. Throughout this video, we've uncovered 7 small, seemingly harmless habits that quietly contribute to the persistent odor many older women struggle with, particularly that stubborn, urine-like scent that clings no matter how meticulous your daily hygiene may seem. Whether it's ignoring light bladder leaks, using harsh scented soaps delaying liner changes, wearing synthetic fabrics, limiting water intake out of fear, sitting too long without refreshing or repeating laundry shortcuts, each of these habits chips away little by little at our sense of comfort and confidence. The truth is, these problems are far more common than we talk about. Yet for too long many women have quietly blamed themselves, assuming it's an inevitable part of aging, something shameful, something to endure rather than address. But that simply isn't true. What these lessons have taught us is profoundly empowering. Most of these issues are not caused by irreversible aging, but by correctable habits. They are not rooted in something broken inside you. They stem from how we adapt or fail to adapt our self-care as our bodies change over time. And the solutions? They are not complicated. In fact, they're beautifully simple. Listen to your body's signals, even the quiet ones. Swap synthetic undergarments for breathable cotton. Stay hydrated, even when it's inconvenient. Maintain mindful hygiene routines, not just in the shower, but throughout the entire day. Refresh your laundry habits with hot water, vinegar, and thorough drying. Move regularly, even in the comfort of your own home. And above all, release the shame. There is nothing embarrassing about adapting your routines to honor your changing body. Quite the opposite. It is a profound act of self-respect. Your dignity is worth protecting. Your confidence is worth reclaiming. And your sense of comfort in your own skin is worth every small change you choose to make starting today. Remember, these little habits may seem trivial on the surface, but together they have the power to transform how you feel each morning when you wake up, how you interact with loved ones, and how you carry yourself proudly in every moment of your beautiful life. You deserve to feel fresh, you deserve to feel confident, and most importantly, you deserve to never again feel burdened by something as easily fixable as odor. Aging with grace doesn't mean accepting discomfort. It means learning how to care for yourself with wisdom. So starting today, take these simple yet powerful changes to heart. Your body and your spirit will thank you.